Listen up, beautiful people. I want to take just a minute to tell you about our new hosting site, Anchor. Anchor is your one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. So go to anchor.fm/start and become part of the Anchor community today. And now, back to the show. Hello and welcome to Mafia Hits, the show where we talk to Bluff City Mafia capos and get their take on soccer action, particularly as it concerns Memphis 901 FC. I'm Scotty Smith and I'll be your host. We'll be joined in just a moment by Bluff City Mafia capo Clayton France. But first of all, let me just say that I was proud of the way so many of you stepped up to defend Memphis in the week leading up to the Nashville game. There was a lot of chatter from the 615 area code, a lot of talk, a lot of degradation, a lot of putting Memphis down for things that cannot be helped, things like poverty and crime and those kinds of things. A lot of nasty talk where people are just being snarky and arrogant and condescending towards people who live in and around Memphis. And I was proud of your Memphis pride in battling that all week long. It didn't work out for us on the field, certainly not, because we were ropapaed, and we're going to talk about that. When Tim Mulqueen came to Memphis 901 FC, and the first time that he was ever on this show was, I think, the day after he was hired, I gave him a short list, just joking around, messing around. I gave him a short list of players that, it'd be really nice if he could pick up these players, and Ropapa Menza was at or near the top of my list. Just so happens that he wanted to stay with Nashville FC, and who can blame him? They're going MLS. He wants a chance at that, right? It was an unfortunate scenario that it played out like it did, because Ropapa Menza is the reason that Nashville SC won by a score of 2-0. He doesn't start. Nobody quite knows the reason, but he doesn't start. But when he came in, the game changed entirely, because Ropapa Menza is a game changer. We're going to talk about that with Clayton France. We're also going to talk about a big event coming up Easter weekend on Saturday. It'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at Houston High School in Collierville, or on the Collierville-Germantown border. It will be a fundraiser for St. Jude and our good friend and Bluff City Mafia member, Della Rosa. We've already had Gabby Little on to talk about this. We'll talk about that a little bit with Clayton. And just any topics, really, that relate to Bluff City Mafia. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this show, in which, once again, my audio sounds 1,000 times worse than my guest for a reason that I cannot detect. But enjoy the show. We welcome in a man who is still, whose heart is still not beating exactly in the correct rhythm after an absolute thrilling Champions League game, which saw his Spurs advance to the semifinals of the Champions League. We welcome in the capo of Bluff City Mafia, Mr. Clayton France. Clayton, are you alive and well?
I don't know yet. I'm still, it's been almost 45 minutes, and I'm still very anxious. I'm very on edge still.
You do realize that the game is over, and you did, in fact, advance to the semifinals of the Champions League.
Yeah, you're right. So, for 10 minutes after the game, my hands were just shaking.
Right.
Just coming off the adrenaline. And, literally, I felt so nauseous for about the last 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man, it
So,
was exciting. And then they scored, and then they didn't score. Oh, it's crazy.
right. Oh man, that's and here's the thing: is that's going to be one of those goals that is definitely debated a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
whether or not Aguero was offsides or not is going to be debated a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give my opinion. I'm just going to take the win for what it is and call it a day.
Looked like a leg was
So
offside there. So,
yeah,
but it's one of those things where VAR, it used to not be a part of Champions League, and now it is a part of Champions League. And that'll be one of the topics of questions among the pundits this evening,
yeah.
to be sure.
Well, like I said, I think Pep got it very wrong in the first leg,
Right.
and how big was Hugo Lloris's penalty save now?
Yeah.
So
All right. So let's switch continents here and get a little closer to home. Memphis 901 FC is coming off a loss in which they were outshot 21-6. We're going to stay with the on-field stuff before we get to the off-field, because I do think those are two very, very different things. But let's talk just a little bit about the week that was. And by the way, Memphis 901 FC does not play this weekend. And if I've ever seen a team that I felt needed a break, this is the one. They need to kind of just take a moment, take a deep breath, regroup. There was transfer news coming down the pipe today, as Junior Sandoval has been sent to Las Vegas. And they're just kind of evaluating everything right now. But you were in Nashville, and you withstood the 75-minute rain delay.
I did.
And then when the on-field product was displayed, it even though it did not appear to be even, quite literally, it was dead even through 75 minutes, right? It was a nil scoreline through 75 minutes, and then Memphis got Ropapa Mensah.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened. Ropapa came on, and you can feel the dynamic of the game change. And I will say, like, we got outshot 21-6. For 75 minutes of that game, it didn't feel like we had been outshot 21-6. Like, it definitely felt, most of our games that we have lost this season, Memphis has been the better team. Memphis has obviously been the better team. This was the first match that I walked away from and said, Memphis was not the better team, but we weren't dominated. We didn't, it never felt like we were being dominated. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it didn't look that way from, other people's standpoint, but it never felt like Memphis was on their back heel at any point until Ropapa Mensah came on.
Yeah, and when Ropapa Mensah came on, he immediately set up a beautiful, put a beautiful pass in for, to set up a goal, and then with just sheer work ethic off the corner kick, he scored a goal. And look, we've been on this podcast. We've been on this guy for 2 years, saying, man, it would be super nice if we could somehow get him. But I understand him not wanting to leave Nashville, especially when you have a chance to, if you do really, really well this year, be with their MLS team. I mean, we saw Cincinnati sign, 6 or 7 players off their USL team. And, Ropapa is continuously not starting, which I don't get it. I didn't get it last year. I don't get it this year. He's not starting. He is an absolute difference maker. He is their best threat to score, and yet they don't start him. I don't know if he's going to have a chance at MLS, but you've got to look at it from his perspective. He is trying to earn an MLS contract with his play this year, and when you have a team that's definitely going MLS, that's probably a pretty good decision on his part.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. He is a dynamic playmaker in the game, and he's almost in that level of, he's good enough to be on a lower tier MLS roster,
As a
but
super
he's
sub.
like, right, but he's really truly a step. He's definitely in the top tier players in the USL.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what the hesitation to start him at Nashville is.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's how Nashville uses it, as a super sub. Maybe that's the design plan all along.
Seems to work.
But you would have to think, if you're Ropapa Menza, like, you would want to go play somewhere where you can start and play 90 minutes.
Let's say he doesn't earn an MLS contract. Is he at the top of Tim McQueen's list for the offseason?
He's at the top of my list for the offseason.
Mine too.
I can tell you that right now.
He's on the top of my list last year.
If he's not at the top of this team's list, then I have serious questions about the front office scouting reports.
Well, I also had Freddie Adu on that list, so I don't know if I'm the one to ask.
I didn't have Freddie Adu on my list, so maybe my list is a little different than yours.
I thought he'd be a great marketing tool for the city of Memphis.
Right. A guy with zero ties to the city of Memphis would be a huge marketing tool.
It's like, hey, we got soccer now. Oh, I remember when that one kid used to play soccer a long time ago. Let's bring him in.
Right. I remember when DC United signed Freddie Adu a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this. Like, my brother-in-law, who is a huge Memphis sports fan in absolutely everything, including every single fly-by-night football league that comes into this place.
Right.
He can name 2 American soccer players, Alexi Lawless and Freddie Adu. See what I mean about marketing? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like remember, Freddie Adu got signed and was still having to have his mother drive him to senior team practice when he got signed. Like, he couldn't drive.
Yeah.
So because he was signed at 14 or 15.
14, yeah. Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Like, this was the Christian Pulisic before Christian Pulisic was a thing.
Yeah. Well, he's off my list now, and because he's going to be 30, and he never really fully realized his potential. Ropapa Menza remains at the top of my list. We got burned by him on the weekend. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But off the field, that's a completely different thing. And I will say this, and I'm going to say this in a very objective way with no biases whatsoever. These are the facts of the situation. There's a supporters group for Memphis. There's a supporters group for Nashville. One of those groups is being universally lambasted and made fun of, and the other one continues to receive praise. You are in charge of the one that continues to receive praise. So good on you, sir. The other one has made a mockery of the proceedings, and they continue to get called out about it on Twitter.
Yeah. So, you and I said this off the podcast, and we talked about this a lot. And I will stand by what I said. I think that as far as in-game atmosphere goes, roadies do a lot of things right.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, that's right.
They do really well with, it's not a very big number of people. I mean, we easily double or maybe even triple the size of roadies for a home match.
Is it fair to? Well, I don't know. This is probably not. It seems like their numbers were larger last year.
And I'm sure they were. And I'm not gonna talk about last year because we weren't there. I can't speak to last year.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that the size of a supporters group that I saw on Saturday night,
mm-hmm.
which was Nashville built this game just like Memphis did. This was by every means a very important derby match to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Predators playing just a couple blocks away, mm-hmm. and that game ends right as Nashville starts, or was supposed to.
Right.
So from a from an objective standpoint, they do a lot of things right for the size of people that they have. They are loud. They do a very good job of making noise. They do a very good job of, if it's a chant or a song that requires you to clap or to jump or to, lock arms and move laterally, they all do it.
That's
the
good.
the participation percentage is very high.
Right.
Where I think that they have gotten things wrong, and I think that and where I would, my criticisms of them is the tifo was really bad. It has been blistered by every supporters group from MLS to NPSL.
Right.
And so sitting at the game too, because they printed it, I couldn't even see it. It was so glossy. I couldn't even see it from where we were sitting.
Right.
And so for the first 3 or 4, they put it up 3 or 4 different times, and I couldn't even see to tell you what it was. All I could tell was that it was Tim Howard. And I really could barely only make out that it was Tim Howard. So I think that the execution
on Twitter because it was too shiny.
Right. And like I said, I took a picture of it to, because I knew it was going to be something we could make fun of. And you can't, even in my picture, you can't see that it's really Tim Howard.
I thought it was Kanye, to be honest. I honestly thought it was Kanye. I was like, what am I looking at here?
That would be a weird time in Nashville, I guess.
I just didn't know what I was looking at. I was like,
right.
It was kind of like, some parts of it were shiny, some parts of it were shadowy. I just didn't know what I was seeing.
Right.
I'm like, what is this?
It was definitely interesting. So when I finally saw on Twitter what it was, because they tweeted it out right before they put it up. So we could look on Twitter and see what it was. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it at all.
Right.
And I think that has been, I think that is largely aside from the fact that it was printed, and trust me, they have gotten, that has been a lot of the blistering. Aside from that, the other part that people have given them so much crap about was it doesn't really make sense if you're not a Nashville supporter.
Right.
And I think that and everybody's going to do tifo differently. Everybody's going to do them very different. But I think that if you're going to make a stab at a team, or you're going to try to throw shade or make a joke about it, it has to be something that the casual fan would understand.
Yeah, I think that's right.
If you're trying to make something funny or whatever, if it's anything other than just saying this tifo is specifically pro my team and it is solely meant to build up my team for this match, anything other than that, it has to be easy to understand.
Right.
You should not have to get on Twitter and go, let me explain why this is funny, because the minute you do that, it's not funny.
Yeah. And
that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I will give credit where credit is due. They do a great job in stadium atmosphere.
Yeah.
And both groups were very hospitable to us, and we met with the roadies before the match, and we tailgated with the assembly for a little bit before the match. And both groups were great. We met a lot of the board, a lot of the leadership and stuff. I talked to both presidents. I talked to both capos and board members from the roadies and stuff. And everybody was very nice and everything like that.
Cool.
Like I said, I think that they do things that the league, that soccer supporter culture frowns on.
Yes, that's true. That's been true since NPSL.
And they embrace it.
Right.
They got it wrong and they steered into it. They knew they got this wrong.
Yeah.
And by the end of the blistering that they were getting, they were just You know what? You're right. We got this wrong.
Yeah.
And
oh, go ahead.
I don't know. I was gonna say, and it's when the guy who created the roadies has to get on there and say, "Let me explain why this is funny," it instantly should be a red flag that it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And that no one gets it.
Yeah, and I know they've talked a lot since the match about and maybe it's to compensate for or make up for the fact that they have done a lot of those things wrong off the field, but they keep wanting to come back to the score line, to the 2-0, and look at the match, look at this and that, look at the scoreboard and all this. But at the end of the day, the analysis, even though yes, we got outshot and probably possession lost that too. The truth of the matter is, one team, and I keep going back to this, and this is just my analysis of the match. One team had Ropapa-Mensah, and one team did not. And we were the team that did not. It's really that simple to me. I can't be persuaded otherwise.
No, and I think you're right. I think, and really even on the second goal, Cole lucky the way the ball, because he makes a great initial first save. Right.
Caldwell's really great, isn't he?
Save.
I mean, Caldwell's really great.
Caldwell is very underrated. Caldwell is so underrated. And here's the thing: like, he makes an amazing save on the first shot.
Yeah.
It's just very unfortunate that the ball fell right at Ropapa-Mensah's feet.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I mean, that's just the game, and that's just how that's kind of how the cards fell.
Yeah, and look, I know that it is the biggest nightmare scenario for Bluff City Mafia that God forbid Caldwell should get called back to NYCFC, which is why I made the stupid decision to use that as my April Fool's joke, which the club was none too happy about, but that is the nightmare. No. They just weren't happy about that, and I can understand.
No, they were not.
I can understand that. That's on me. That's my bad. But that's the nightmare scenario for Bluff City Mafia, right? I mean, it is. Because look, I'm talking about this year, because I'm talking about just this year. Let's focus on 2019. Caldwell's future is massive. All right, this guy.
That's without a doubt.
This guy has all the potential in the world. He's been fantastic. Just save after save. He does everything right from a goalkeeper's perspective. Even when people who are very critical of goalkeepers and who analyze the position, like Tim Mulqueen, for example, when they analyze him and when they break him down, they say this guy does everything right from a goalkeeper's position, and he was under attack several times the other night, and he made some remarkable saves. Even in that scenario, and for the last goal, he made the first save, but the unlucky bounce, and it's hard to make that second save. So, but we've seen him make some double saves. So I know that NYCFC fans were, and in fact, a lot of American soccer fans on Twitter, #SoccerTwitter, they were kind of spoofing a little bit on Sean Johnson's gaffe over the weekend, where he kind of scored an own goal that led to a draw instead of 3 points for New York City FC. Look, he's a great keeper. He's made unbelievable saves so many times. He's on the U.S. men's national team roster. He's had several call-ups recently. Sean Johnson's a great keeper, and Caldwell is a little bit buried on that depth chart, but he's a guy with an immense future, and I'm just, I feel like we're lucky to have him, and it'd be great to keep him even past this season, to keep him as long as we possibly can. But this is a guy with first division talent, and I don't think that there's any doubt about that.
Right, and I think that you're right there. I think that his intangibles are so good, and his instincts are unbelievable. That's something that a lot of young goalkeepers can make those saves. Their positioning is very good. Their acrobatics are very good.
Mm-hmm.
what a lot of young goalkeepers, what sets Caldwell apart from that is mentally he has something you just can't teach.
Right.
His intangibles that he has, you just can't teach. And those
Yeah.
instincts that he has, you can't teach.
Yeah.
And I think it shows. I think that, and I think that he has embraced this city as much as this city and Bluff City Mafia has embraced him.
Yep.
And I definitely think that if you were to ask him right now, if he was going to go on loan for another season after this,
Yeah.
where he wanted to play,
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly think he would tell you back in Memphis.
I hope so. Man, I hope so.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
he does seem to be very team first. Like, we're here for the city. I'm going to come over and talk to the fans and all of that kind of guy.
And he does. And he came over Saturday and he talked to us, and Cameron Lindley came over and talked to us afterwards. Both of them were just class acts to the supporters.
What do you think about Lindley?
I think Lindley's really good. I think Lindley played. I'm not sure exactly how long he played. I know he got
but
some
it's
minutes.
It's literally his first match, and he starts. I think that's a big telling sign right there.
Right, and he's a box to box kind of guy. I think he's one thing that we've really been missing is, we have some very good technical guys up top in the midfield, and we have some very good defensive guys in our midfield. I think where we've struggled is with losing Raul, you lose a guy that can go box to box, and a guy that's going to keep possession, a guy that's going to do, is going to make those nasty plays that have to be made. And Lindley made those. Lindley looked good.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with him Saturday, and I think he's got a bright future here. I know I was surprised that he did not go down to Orlando City's B team,
Right.
to go play there. And I'm not going to question why I didn't, and I'm not going to argue with it because I'm happy he's here.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway there. And I'll say what I've said all season. Our attacking band has to get better. It just has to be better. We had a couple very good opportunities Saturday night to score. I know the scoreboard reflects 6 shots. Or the score, the stat sheet reflects 6 shots, but those 6 shots were quality looks.
Hey, do you know who was on the top of my potential loan list all off season, right?
Was Nicky Jackson.
Nicky Jackson. Guess what he did as soon as he got to Charlotte Independence on the weekend?
I've seen it. I already saw the video. Yeah. I saw the video already. I don't understand how he doesn't end up in Memphis. I don't either. Because like
born in Memphis.
When I talked to the front office, like he was the first player they tried to sign.
Yeah, something happened.
He was the first player they went after.
And
at the time, Colorado wasn't going to loan him out.
Yeah.
Because they needed him this season. And I don't understand how your teammate, your goalkeeper, is a minority owner in the team and you don't go to Memphis. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
And it's the same as like watching JJ Williams. Is that his last name? Williams?
Oh, yeah. JJ Williams from Birmingham?
Right. JJ Williams is sitting at Birmingham right now and is sitting on a week-to-week loan. And it's like, why are we not going after these kind of guys?
Yeah, well, I think we are. Something's happening in the communication, or something's breaking down somewhere. But I'll say this: I think Nicky Jackson with a goal and an assist. And I'll just tell you what one of my buddies from the Beautiful Game Network was like. I think he's the key to unlocking our offense. I was like, yeah, he could be the key to unlocking our offense.
Right. And here's the thing: I've said it before, and I'm going to say it, and I've said this off podcast. You can quote me on this. I still believe in our attacking group. I do. I really do. I know that some people do not. I know that some people have lost faith there. I still believe in Elliott Collier and Dolly, and now we've got White. White comes in, and White looked really good Saturday. I still believe in that trio of guys, and I think that they can. I think that they can mold and work very well together.
I mean, there's a lot to
They have to find the next level. That's just all I'm going to say. There's got to be another gear that they can get into, and I say this, and I will say this too. Elliott Collier, for everything that's gone on and been said, and everything like that that's been said, for Elliott Collier to fight the way he did Saturday night for this team earned a lot of points in a lot of people's books.
Yeah.
I mean, he was fired up. He was not having any of the crap calls that went our way. And let's also say that the officiating Saturday night was horrible, very bad. And I mean, it's easy to say that as the losing team, but the officiating was very bad Saturday night.
I think that's kind of a complaint that's really common across the league.
Right. And like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and try to play the victim card of that. I'm not.
Right.
We were outplayed. But
absolutely.
But
yeah, let's make that focus. We're not saying that we weren't outplayed. We know that.
Right. I'm very well aware that we were outplayed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
there are other things that could have gone, and
there was a lot that happened Saturday night that I was questioning decisions.
Now, let me ask you this question. This is a very big question. Are you ready to put Saturday night behind us?
It's already behind me, and it's behind me. I didn't tweet anything after the game. I didn't see the need to. I can handle a loss. I can handle losing to a team that I can handle losing a game that we should lose. A game that we were we weren't the better team in.
Literally everybody picked them to be number one, so I'm not that upset about it.
Right.
Okay, so we don't have 901 FC this weekend. But as we wrap up, I do want to make everybody aware again of the charity event that is going on this Saturday, the fundraiser for St. Jude, which is at Houston High School at 1:00. It is an all-star match. It is friends of Della Rosa. That's really the best way to describe it. It was Houston High School alumni, and now it has kind of morphed into some CBU players and some people who are coming back from other colleges in the area, people who played Lobos with her, and it's just basically, apparently Anna is friends with half of the Memphis area, and they are, a lot of them are playing in this match on Saturday. It is at 1:00. There's a big cookout. It's free to get in, but there are donations. There are two ways to donate. You can donate platelets, or at least get set up with St. Jude, and you can also donate money. And so we want everybody to come out.
I think they have a GoFundMe set up.
Yes, there is a GoFundMe as well, and we've tweeted out that link, and we'll do that again for those who can't make it on Saturday. But the BCM sounds like there's going to be some pretty decent representation this weekend, and we want everybody in the whole entire Memphis area to be able to participate in that event. If you are outside the Memphis area and you still want to give to St. Jude and give to a great cause and to help a great player and a great kid who is a junior at Christian Brothers University, Della Rosa, then check our Twitter feed and you'll be able to get that link to that GoFundMe. And we just want everybody to have the opportunity to help.
Yeah, I think that this is a great event. As somebody who grew up in Collierville in this area, this is going to be a great match. I'm really excited to actually watch the game because Houston's probably one of the best girls soccer programs in the state of Tennessee.
In the country.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They won the national title
several years.
Well, this was 2000. Let's see, it was 18, right? Yeah, 2018.
2018, 2017. It's very recent.
Oh, it might have been 17. You're right. It might have been 17.
Very good program.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was in high school, they were our rivals, and it was, I mean, like, it's hard not to watch what they do in soccer and just be in awe. And so to get to watch some of these girls come back, girls that have won national championships and state championships with, clubs and schools and stuff like this. Like, it's going to be a very fun day and a very fun event. Bluff City Mafia is going to definitely be there. We love Anna. I think the city has embraced Anna and stuff, and especially the club. So,
and she is now a full-fledged member of Bluff City Mafia.
She is. She's a full-fledged member of Bluff City Mafia. I see pictures of her all the time with her scarf and her blanket, and she is ready to go. So I'm very excited to be able to give back to Anna. And so, like, I know for myself, like, I'm signing up to give platelets and stuff as soon as I can get that set up. But if you're listening to this and you want to give to a great cause, this is an amazing cause that, needs to be addressed and helped and stuff.
Absolutely. All right, Clayton France, listen, man, thanks for joining us. Take a breather, get some much needed rest this weekend. And we're all looking forward to April 27th at home, 7:00 against Charleston Battery.
Three games in 8 days. My vocal cords need this weekend off.
Yeah, you need to be off.
So thanks for having me on. As always, it's a great time. We look forward to doing it again.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right. See ya.
We are a part of the Beautiful Game Network. Go to bgn.fm to discover soccer podcasts from across this great nation of ours.